Hello there, and welcome to the series Introduction to Google Colab for Research. I am Renato, the instructor for this series, and the topic of today is how to use the WebAudio API in the Google Colab environment. The WebAudio API provides a powerful and versatile system for controlling audio on the web, allowing developers to choose audio sources, add effects, create visualization, apply spatial effects, and much more. So you'll find some documentation about the WebAudio API at developer.mozilla.org, docs, web API, WebAudio API, and here you'll find examples, guides, and tutorials in the documentation. Have in mind that this is not a tutorial about the WebAudio API. I will not go into the details. I will just show how you can use the WebAudio API in the Google Colab environment. Unfortunately, the Google Colab notebook has some limitations and we are not able to directly use the WebAudio API, but there will be some workarounds and I will show you how I do it. We will use this example as using IIR filters. So I'll just do some modifications to make life simple. I will not have this graph here. There will be just play a file and turn a filter on and off without all these styles and colors. It will be just simple buttons just to make life easier. So here is very interesting how you can use IIR filters. We will find information about the IIR filter nodes. Here you also have information about the infinite impulse response. You find all the documentations, and also we have here the IIR filter node. So if you click here on the source code on GitHub from the developer.mozilla.org web API IIR filter node, for example, then you will have here, and this is what we are going to do. So first we will download this MP3 file that we will use in our example, and then we will take a look at this index.html, and here we have this CSS where it will define sizes and colors and backgrounds to make this nice display. But I will remove some of these parts, so it will not have this graph, it will not have all these colorful buttons. It will be much more simple. And here also we have the part where we create our audio context. Here we have a function to fetch the audio file and decode the data. Here we create a buffer, connect and play. So here we have also the filter coefficients. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different filters that you can choose with this filter number. Then there will be this cutoff frequency, so 200 Hz, 500 Hz, 1000 Hz, 5000 Hz. Here is where we create our filter. So we have this audio context, create IIR filter, then we have our feed forward and feedback coefficients, then we have some events listener for the play button. We can also turn on filter or turn off. So first what I'm going to do is to download the MP3 file from the Git repository. So it's this outfoxing.mp3. So now we have our MP3 here, and I'll just show you what happens when we try to run inside Google Colab. So I'll just go here to the index, raw, I'll copy everything here, then I'll paste here and I run. So it starts loading, but if we look at the console, we have here a lot of errors. Failed to load resource, the server responds with status 500. DevTools failed to load source map, could not load content, so it's not working. So what we can do is, I'll just factory reset runtime here. We will not use the Google Colab notebook, but we will use the classic Jupyter notebook running inside the Google Colab environment. So I'll delete this. Let's connecting. So I will download again. Now I will install PyNgrok. There is one of the first tutorials, and it shows in our playlist. You can find it there, and it shows how to start Jupyter Lab and the classic Jupyter notebook inside the Google Colab. So you can follow this tutorial, but here also I'm showing how to use PyNgrok. We will once again tunnel, and when we can access Jupyter notebook. So here we just terminate any open tunnels if it exists, and here you can configure your ngrok authorization token. So you need an ngrok account. There is a free account with some limitations, but you can use for experiments, for research. It should be enough. And here you put your ngrok authorization token. Now I will start the Jupyter notebook at port 14,000 using this get ipython system raw. So it's running in the background. I can now ngrok.connect port 14,000. So I have my URL. When we click here, it opens our Jupyter 3. We have our Outfox MP3 here. Let's start a Python 3 notebook. So just to show you, I'll just run HTML. I will copy here from the GitHub repository this example. So we have here this index.html. I will copy everything from now just so you can see what happens. So let's run the cell. So it's loading. Voila, we have our buttons just like the example. We can play. Turn the filter on. So we can see that the filter is in action. Now filters off. Now filters on. And we can stop. So just now restart and clear the output. So here I have a modified version. So I just removed some parts. So let's just look a bit in the code. We have here where we instigate our audio context, new audio context. Here's where we fetch the audio file and decode the data. We create buffer with the audio context create buffer, and we have this sound source. So if we go here to the WebAudio API, so basically we have an audio context, we have an input. We can connect the input to a destination, playback, and we can put, for example, effects in the middle. So we have some WebAudio API interfaces. There are containers and definitions that shape this audio graphs in the WebAudio API usage. So here you have all the necessary documentation, examples, and tutorials. And here we will have these filter coefficients for different frequencies. In the original example, it was set to filter 2. So 0, 1, 2, it was in 1000 Hertz. Now I just changed to 0, so it will be frequencies 200 Hertz. So you can even feel that there is a bigger difference. So we are having a very low cutoff frequencies. So let's run this. Wait. So we see now that it's cutting much more, so it's just passing from 0 to until the 200 Hertz. So we can pause, and this is the simple example. Just button for play and pause, one button to turn the filter on and off. We're not using any CSS, so we can, for example, change here to, let's put filter 3. So now the cutoff frequency will be 5000. So it is more difficult to notice these differences. Let's go now to 500 Hertz. And we can see the filter in action. So basically what we did is just we had our Google Colab notebook. We downloaded this MP3 file. We installed PyNgrok. We started the classic Jupyter notebook. We tunneled with ngrok. Now we have the classic Jupyter notebook. We just put this cell magic to run HTML. We copied the HTML from this GitHub example, and we could, for example, let's look at another example. So there will be audio basics. Let's see this one. Let's copy here. That's HTML. Before I need to download this. See, there is this style CSS. So let's copy this. Write file style.css. Now we have our style CSS. This uses the same outfoxing. So we run, and we have this we control the volume, panning. Here we can pause, and it has this kind of boombox. So I encourage you to go through this developer.mozilla.org web API, WebAudio API. You have guides and tutorials, advanced techniques, basic concepts, simple synth keyboard, using IIR filters, using the web API. You have a lot of examples. Here's also the browser compatibility. So not all browsers support everything. I'm using here Chrome. Sometimes I also have problems with Chrome, and you can also use Firefox. And you have here some tutorials and guides. So that's it. I showed how you can use the WebAudio API in the Google Colab environment. I didn't manage to make it work in a Google Colab notebook, but we can start a classic Jupyter notebook inside the Google Colab environment and use it so you can try out with the WebAudio API.